Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. Today I will recap a movie called The Intouchable, released in 2011. So let's get into it without waiting. Sit back and enjoy this beautiful story of a strange friendship. A car is driving down the road at night. After waiting for a while at the red light, the car sped off the road, breaking the signal. Driss, the driver of the car, speeds down the road and doesn't slow down even when they are being chased by the police. He bets to Philippe, the other man in the car, that he can outrun the police, but he loses the bet because soon they are surrounded by the police. Driss goes out of the car after betting again that he will get out of this easily. Outside, he talks to the police and says that Philippe is quadriplegic and he is having a fit, so they must get to the hospital immediately. When an officer goes to check in the car, Philippe pretends to have a seizure. Police officers get easily fooled and even escort them safely to the hospital. Police go away after dropping them at the hospital, and before nurses could come out, Driss drives the car away from the hospital. The movie then proceeds as a flashback to when the two men met for the first time. An interview for hiring a caregiver for a paralyzed man is being held at a mansion. Tired of waiting for Driss to barge into the room without waiting for his turn, and says that he just needs to sign on the paper to prove that he applied for the job because he needs to get rejected from 3 places to get his welfare benefits. He doesn't care to be polite or fake and just asks for a favor. They tell him to come to get the papers the next morning. After the interview, Driss goes to his house and spends the day in his house with his siblings. At night, he is waiting for his mother to come back. When she comes back, she gets very angry after seeing him and asks him where was he for the last 6 months. When he stays quiet, she says that she cared about him a lot, but she has other children to take care of and his scams will not pay for their rent, so he should get out of the house. After getting kicked out by his mother, he spends the night outside with the homeless people and takes the train to go to the mansion in the morning. When he reaches there, they say that they were expecting him. A housekeeper, Yvonne, shows him around and tells him about Philippe's schedule, even though he is just here to get his papers back. After ending the trip and showing him a luxurious room as his quarter, she finally takes him to Philippe. Philippe says that he signed Driss's papers, but he wants to try Driss for a month as his caregiver and he can think over it and come back the next day. Driss shows up with his stuff the next day. On his first day at the job, he is shown how to do his job and what exercises Philippe needs to do. On his first day, he nearly throws Philippe off his wheelchair and put his foot cream in his hair thinking it is shampoo. After showering, they show him that he needs to put stockings on Philippe, which he refuses to do at the start but had to do at the end. He is also not happy with many tasks and complains to Yvonne about them all the time. He helps Philippe sort his mail and then they go to his room for tea. Driss accidentally spills the hot tea on Philippe's leg and is surprised when he shows no reaction. Amazed, he keeps spilling tea just to test the theory. Later, he is showering in his room with the loud music playing in the background and misses the shouts of Philippe from the baby monitor. Marcel has to come to his room to call him. She sees some weapons but doesn't say anything and goes back after telling him that Philippe is calling him. Driss go to Philippe as they have to go to a museum. He refuses to drive the usual van assigned for Philippe and takes another normal car. When they reach the museum, Driss is not impressed by the paintings and said that it is just a waste of money and he will make this painting at a much less price. Later, they go to meet a friend of Philippe and Driss waits outside while they talk. His friend talks to Philippe and says that he should be careful while letting people inside, and he heard about Driss being very careless. He says that Driss has spent 6 months in jail for robbery and the people like him have no pity. Philippe says that he doesn't want pity and that's why he hired Driss and he doesn't care about his background. At home, Philippe is checking his mail with his assistant Magali while Driss is listening to their conversation on the baby monitor in the kitchen. Yvonne tries to stop him but he continues to listen. He questions Yvonne about the mail, to which she tells him that Philippe writes these emails to a woman named Eleanor and they have an epistolary relationship. Later at night, Driss is sleeping in his room when he hears Philip panting on the monitor. He rushes to Philippe's room and finds him panting heavily. He quickly brings a wet towel and places it on Philippe's forehead. Slowly he manages to calm him down. After some hours, when Philippe wakes up again and says he needs air, Driss quickly puts him in his wheelchair and takes him out for a walk. Philippe is happy to be out after a long time and they chat about themselves. They eat at a restaurant and talk among themselves. Philippe tells Driss about his wife Alice and tells that they adopt their daughter after his wife has 5 miscarriages and she died soon after that. Philippe says that he loves sports, especially paragliding, and got paralyzed one day when the weather was not good, but he decided to go anyway. He then tells Driss that his trial period is over and he is hired. Some days later at the mansion, Magali is writing another letter to be sent to Eleanor, while Philippe is narrating. Driss is not happy and says that he should at least call her. He takes this upon himself in search for her number and calls her. He forces Philippe to talk on the phone, and this makes the conversation shift from letters to phone. Later, when they go to an event, Philippe tells Driss that she wants a picture of him now. Driss encourages him to send the photo. Philippe is trying to send his picture with a wheelchair later, but changes his decision at the last minute and asks Yvonne to send his picture before the accident. Driss and Philippe fell into a routine and enjoy each other company. Philippe even scolds his daughter Elisa on Driss's request, as he says that she is very rude. They go to the market to buy a suit for Driss. Driss receives a call from Yvonne telling him about Philippe's birthday surprise and asks him to not tell Philippe, all the while he is also listening to the conversation. At the birthday party, there is a concert of classical music. Driss spends some time wandering around and then finally gets bored by the music and plays the song Earth, Wind, and Fire, bringing the party to life as guests also enjoy the fast music. Later at night, he gives Philippe his gift, which is a picture of Eleanor she has sent earlier. There is a note in the envelope saying that she will be in Paris next week and she is expecting a call from Philippe. Philippe is happy to get the picture and says he may not be able to sleep tonight, but Driss out the picture on the bedside table and says it will help him sleep. After some days, Philippe is getting ready for his date with Eleanor. Driss and Yvonne are helping him and keep changing things until finally, they are satisfied with his looks. Philippe says that he only wants to take Yvonne with him, so as they go to meet the girl, Driss wanders around in the car. Driss goes to threaten Elisa's boyfriend as she has requested him on the night of the party and says that he must say sorry to Elisa and brings croissants for her every day. He then goes to his mother's workplace and looks at her from afar. Meanwhile, Philippe is very nervous about his date with Eleanor. He keeps drinking whiskey and asking about time again and again. He couldn't take it anymore and finally decides to ditch his date. He calls Driss and asks him if he wants to get away for a while to breathe a little. Driss agrees to his suggestion and says he will join them soon. They take Philippe's private jet to go to the Alps for a paragliding weekend. In the plane, Philippe gives $11,000 to Driss, saying that his first ever painting got sold for that money, even though it was just a bunch of lines and colors. In the Alps, Philippe goes paragliding again with the help of an instructor. Driss says that he is stupid, but Philippe makes him go too. Driss keeps complaining even when he is in the sky, but finally starts to loosen up a little and ends up enjoying his first flight. When they come back from their happy trip, Yvonne says that there is someone here to meet Driss. Driss goes inside to find his cousin Adam. He doesn't tell him much about it and says he received a warning later. Driss calls his sister Mina to hear the proper story and finds that Adam got into trouble with a gang and now they are all in trouble. Philippe overhears Driss's conversation with his sister and asks Driss to talk with him. Driss tells him about his family and says that he is actually adopted by his uncle and aunt, as they couldn't perceive a child at that time, but later they got their children and his uncle died soon after that, so now they have a big family. Philippe understands his situation and tells him that he is free to go as he can't spend his whole life assisting a paralyzed man. In the morning, Driss packs his stuff, gives back the baby monitor to Yvonne, and leaves the house. Driss goes back to his place to help his family. He talks to the people his cousin gets in trouble with and manages to solve the issue. Meanwhile, Philippe gets a new caregiver but doesn't adjust to him and fires him. The situation continues and he keeps changing the people. His condition is getting worse as he is not like anyone now. Yvonne is worried about his condition and called Driss for help. He comes back and takes Philippe and drives him in his luxurious car, which takes the story back to the start of the movie. After leaving the hospital, they go to the seaside and Philippe's mood seemed to be getting better. Driss helps him shave and bring back his previous appearance. After getting ready, Driss brings him to a restaurant and says that he will not be staying for lunch, but Philippe is not alone as someone is coming here as his date. He leaves the restaurant and soon Eleanor comes to join Philippe as his date. An ecstatic and happy Philippe looks out the window where Driss waves goodbye to him, smiling while he continues his date with Eleanor. The movie ends with a clip of real-life Driss and Philippe, who are very close friends to this date. Thanks for watching the recap. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so you don't miss any content from us. Stay tuned for more such thrilling and amazing movies. See you soon. Bye.